Hey everyone, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're located and when you're watching this video. Welcome to a brief overview of AI for professionals. Um, in any industry, it's critical these days to understand the fundamentals of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm just going to go over a brief overview, highlight some of the key concepts, some of the ways that AI is applied in the industry today. And then as we progress, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter where I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth on these concepts and kind of getting you guys a better overview, understanding of these various concepts. So without further ado, let's kind of jump in. So what is AI? Artificial intelligence is essentially simulating human intelligence and allowing machines to think and learn more like humans. Where's AI used today? AI has a ton of applications. So just some items off the top of my head here were virtual assistants. We use them on a constant basis, such as Siri, Alexa, and then when you're watching Netflix and you see that you've been watching a ton of action movies or comedy movies, and then you see those recommendations for what you should watch next, well, that's a model running in the background, learning more about what you like. So there's tons of industry applications here listed, just a few. Of course, one being fraud detection. I was actually trying to use my credit card last week, and I was back home in Tennessee, and unfortunately, I had a fraud alert. So definitely a huge application there. So what's the importance of AI? Well, understanding AI is extraordinarily critical. Not only just the fundamentals, security concerns, the various applications that you can leverage AI, but essentially it's going to really just help you to, number one, automate repetitive tasks. You think about robot process automation or any sort of model that can then duplicate what you've been doing. Help you with data-driven insights, machine learning models. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a little bit and do a deep dive later on in some additional content that I'll be creating. But essentially, it's to support you. And as organizations continue to adopt this, it's really to support humans in their day-to-day activities and how that we can get individuals to be able to drive more value by actually automating these very repetitive, very monotonous tasks. Couple industry examples, especially for those of you in project management, helping you to predict risks or optimize your resource allocation, help you to create a project schedule, a project plan, a project charter. All of these can be done with the help and the support of artificial intelligence. As far as data analytics is concerned, machine learning is huge. How can we get a model to help us to predict various outcomes? And we can explore extraordinarily large data sets with these models. So now let's talk about a few concepts. Sorry, the text is small. Probably should have made that a little bit bigger. But anyways, let's talk about machine learning. So what's machine learning? Well, it's a subset of AI that enables machines to learn from data without explicitly being programmed. So when you think back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, these recommendation systems, if you're on Amazon, like half the population, and it's starting to recommend items based on what you've previously purchased or what you have in your cart today. The next one's probably the most common form. We talk about it a lot. You see a lot of things about OpenAI, ChatGPT, Llama through Meta, and the other various natural language processing. So it's a field of AI focused on the interaction between computers and humans through natural language. So being able to actually have a conversation and it respond back appropriately. There's a lot of theories around this. There's a lot of nuance to this. And we'll talk a lot more about that as we progress through deep dives on each of these concepts. Another concept is deep learning. It's a type of machine learning involving neural networks with many layers inspired by the human brain. So when you think about image and speech recognition. And last but not least, neural networks. So a neural network is a series of algorithms that attempt to recognize underlying relationships in a set of data through a process that mimics the way the brain operates. And a good example of that is self-driving cars. As scary as that may sound to some of you, it's a reality. Now, when you think about getting spun up on all of the AI information that's out there, all the tools that are out there, there's just so many. And you've got to think about how that you're going to be able to learn all of this. Well, there's tons of online platforms. You think about learning platforms such as Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning. There's tons of information out there. Books, AI, although more recently been more popular in the news media, is actually not that new. So there are tons of resources out there on these various topics, such as machine learning, especially when you start looking into data science, newsletters and websites. So of course, I think you should subscribe to my newsletter, but that may be a little biased. But there's tons of AI websites out there. There's tons of content creators that are wholly focused on sharing artificial intelligence information. And then, there's tons of communities and forums. Of course, LinkedIn has a ton of different groups that are focused on artificial intelligence, and then the subsets thereof of AI. So I know this has been really short, really brief, just covered a few key concepts. But I'm going to be continuing to do deep dives and overviews of these concepts and many more. This is not a holistic view of artificial intelligence. There's so many components to it. But in the meantime, if you're interested in connecting more, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, listing my LinkedIn information here, as well as my email address. So feel free to reach out with comments, questions, feedback. And as always, feel free to subscribe to my newsletter so that way that you can keep up to date on AI trends and get more information regarding this topic. So hopefully this has been a little bit informative. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you do, feel free to share this. And let's create a community where we have the knowledge we need in order to leverage these tools successfully and securely. We'll talk a lot about security as we progress. But that's all for now. Hope you have a great weekend and look forward to chatting soon.